Sir, tanong ko lang, meron ba tayong available vessels that have the capacity to do a water cannon?
Aside po from documenting the harassment and the maneuverings, is there any actions or measures ng AFP and PCG para po seryosohin tayo ng CCG at itigil po nila yung kanilang ginagawa? And ano po ba yung mas particular na detalye yung national strategy na binabanggit po ni ASEC Malaya? Mag-iiba ba tayo ng ruta na tipong hindi tayo dadaan kung nasaan yung mga Chinese vessels?
Would you consider it a next level aggression and provocation that the China Coast Guard blasted a vessel with water cannon where the chief of staff of the armed forces was actually on board and he personally witnessed it? Wouldn't that be considered an act of war, or maybe I don't know, paano ho tinitingnan ito ng armed forces?
I think, Ivan, I think the whole world, the Filipino people and the whole world know and has seen that the incidents of the past 2 days is a serious escalation on the part of the People's Republic of China, because what we have been doing has been standard operating procedure.
Around 5:50 in the morning, China Coast Guard vessel 5204 already started using its water cannon against ML Kalayaan, more than 3 times with about 5 minutes interval. As you can see on the video. And during this time, around 5:50, there are already 4 Chinese Coast Guard vessels that are shadowing the entire supply contingent. Next slide. Around 5:58, you can see the Chinese maritime militia, not just the Chinese Coast Guard, actively participating in blocking the Philippine Coast Guard vessel in support of this China Coast Guard, so that the MRB 4409 will also be separated from the resupply boats that she is escorting. Next slide. Next slide. As you can see, MRB 4409 was already blocked by the China Coast Guard vessel and 2 Chinese maritime militia. They were successful in separating the Philippine Coast Guard vessel 4409, that is the designated escort for Unaiza May 1. Next slide. Around 6:11 in the morning, ML Kalayaan already received a direct hit of water cannon coming from China Coast Guard 5204. At a distance of around 0.5 nautical miles is the Philippine Coast Guard vessel MRB 4407, documenting how the China Coast Guard vessel and Chinese maritime militia is preventing ML Kalayaan from proceeding to its mission. Next slide. Around 6:20, 9 minutes after ML Kalayaan was directly hit by the China Coast Guard vessel, the Philippine Coast Guard proceeded to its location, noting the fact that it's no longer moving. It means that it has already engine trouble. This is the reason why ML Kalayaan, from this moment on until the completion of the resupply mission, it was already securely moored together with the MRB 4407. In short, it no longer has the capability to proceed to its mission. Around 6:24, on the other hand, the other Coast Guard vessel, MRB 4409, is also being sprinkled by the Chinese Coast Guard as it escorted the Unaiza May 1. Probably you are wondering with the videos that were tweeted by Ray Powell, wherein Unaiza May 1 was also separated from its Coast Guard escort. It's because of this. MRB 4409 was also corralled at this particular time, also almost the same time that Unaiza May 1 had a near collision with the Chinese Coast Guard and also being water cannon. Next slide. Next slide. This was the video that I'm referring. Around 6:39, you can see that Oneida May 1 is almost having a near collision with this Chinese Coast Guard vessel as she's also being water cannoned at the same time. Interestingly, 3 hours after this incident, the Chinese government, through the Chinese Coast Guard, already released this statement saying that it is the resupply boat that caused the collision between the Chinese Coast Guard and our resupply.
Aside from that, the Chinese Coast Guard also performed dangerous maneuvers to another vessel in an attempt to derail our resupply mission. It happened at 6:35 a.m. when China Coast Guard vessel 21556 fired its water cannon in front of Oneida May 1 while dangerously and closely sailing 30 meters on our vessel's starboard side. These irresponsible and dangerous actions led to a collision at 6:39 a.m. that damaged one of the posts of Oneida May 1. I also showed with you the post of the report made by the China Coast Guard that was published online. And on the left, of course, the real situation as taken by a video footage inside the Oneida May 1. So you can see the stark contrast of the narrative of China Coast Guard to what really happened. Next slide, please. Also, another video before the collision took place. As you can see, the water cannon is directly hitting Oneida May 1. And another video. So you can see the water cannon pointed in front of Oneida May 1 to limit its movement. And later on, you will see where that Coast Guard vessel is located, which is 30 meters before the collision incident happened. We hold China Coast Guard responsible for the damages our vessels incurred. Let the world know that on the occasion of the 75th anniversary of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the China Coast Guard committed transgressions that endangered human lives. China Coast Guard and its maritime militia have no right to interfere in our routine and legitimate operations. Ayungin Shoal is within our exclusive economic zone, and their presence and actions are undermining the peace and stability in the West Philippine Sea.
Question lang po kay Commodore Tariela and also to Colonel Aguilar. Sir, tanong ko lang, meron ba tayong available vessels that have the capacity to do a water cannon?
Yes, all of our Coast Guard vessels have water cannon. But let me stress the fact, that for the Philippine Coast Guard, we believe that the water cannons that are placed on our vessels are intended for us to carry out our duty in combating fire at sea. This is not something that we consider as an offensive weapon to damage any other vessel. We believe that if we're going to be consistent with that kind of behavior as a Coast Guard organization, we don't need to go down to the level of the Chinese Coast Guard using their water cannon to use it as an offensive weapon and damaging the other vessels. Again, the Coast Guard organizations here in the region has something to do with maritime safety. And with what the China Coast Guard is doing, obviously it doesn't conform with the regional standard of promoting safety.
So sir, every time the Chinese vessels blast us with their water cannons, we cannot do a counter water cannon on them?
again, we choose to maintain our moral high ground. If they're going to choose to do that kind of barbaric attack to prevent the Philippine Coast Guard or the Armed Forces of the Philippines in completing our resupply operation, then let them be so. But for the Philippine Coast Guard, using a water cannon to respond to such attack is something that we're not going to do. Secondly, we abide with the guidance of the President that we don't have to do anything stupid to escalate the tension.
Just that.
Alexis Romero, Philippine Star.
Yeah. Just to add.
I'm sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
Just to add to the answers, no. The National Task Force West Philippine Sea has prepared a new national strategy on the West Philippine Sea, and we have made some adjustments given the recent developments, and we hope to be able to present this to the President very soon. So, if the question is, will there be adjustments in our movements? Yes, as soon as the President approves the national strategy, because the President himself is concerned. In his recent statement yesterday, he has expressed his deep concern and his commitment to these missions that we are undertaking. So in consonance with his policy direction, the national strategy has been prepared for the NTF-WPS for his appreciation.
Aside po from documenting the harassment and the maneuverings, is there any actions or measures ang AFP and PCG para po seryosohin tayo ng CCG at itigil po nila yung kanilang ginagawa? And ano po ba yung mas particular na detalye yung national strategy na binabanggit po ni ASEC Malaya? Mag-iiba ba tayo ng ruta na tipong hindi tayo dadaan kung nasaan yung mga Chinese vessels? Thank you.
We will not disclose operational matters. As what our spokesperson from the NTF-WPS, there are changes, there will be adjustment in the strategy, so we will just follow.
Okay. Ivan Mayrina, GMA 7.
Addressing this question to ADG Malaya and Colonel Aguilar, would you consider it a next level aggression and provocation that the China Coast Guard blasted a vessel with water cannon where the Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces was actually on board and he personally witnessed it? Wouldn't that be considered an act of war, or maybe I don't know, paano ho tinitingnan ito ng Armed Forces?
It was a regular RORE mission for us. Of course, there were contingencies prepared because of the presence of the Chief of Staff. But he was there to experience for himself, firsthand, what China is doing to our RORE mission. And he was there also because he was sent to convey the message of the President to our troops that are manning BRP Sierra Madre, and to share early Noche Buena, because some of our troops there will be there for Christmas, for New Year. And these are sacrifices that our soldiers have to perform. And I think this is very much appreciated now by our people, and thank you for that.
So that attack was not an act of war?
It's not for us to declare that.
Okay. From
I think, Ivan, I think the whole world, no, the Filipino people and the whole world know and has seen that the incidents of the past 2 days is a serious escalation on the part of the People's Republic of China, because what we have been doing has been standard operating procedure. No, we're not doing anything different. We always do this humanitarian and supply missions to Baha Masinloc in support of our fishermen. We do regular RORE missions to Ayungin, but the actions that they have shown in the past few days really have shown a desire on their part to escalate situations, and primarily because there has been significant damage to Philippine vessels, no, in terms of their navigation equipment, in terms of communication equipment, in terms of the engine of the ML Kalayaan. So we are taking this very seriously. But is this an act of war? We don't think so. No, this is just part of the cat and mouse game that China seems to be utilizing to further its own interest. On the part of the Philippines, as we have repeatedly said, we shall remain undeterred and will continue to conduct these missions in support of our troops and our fishermen wherever they may be in the West Philippine Sea.